So a few minutes before noon on Sunday, Joseph DeLucia Jr. took a shotgun, a Mossberg 500 pump-action 12-gauge shotgun, and fired multiple rounds into each one of his siblings and one of their daughters, reloading multiple times in order to kill everyone in the house. Then he walked out the front door, screamed on the front lawn, and shot himself in the chest. This all happened as a result of Joseph Jr. getting the idea that he was getting cut out of the will, or just not being allowed to live in the house that he's been living in his whole life. Joe's 95-year-old mother died last week, and they had the funeral on Friday, and shortly after the funeral, 2 days later as a matter of fact, his siblings had arranged for a real estate salesperson, a real estate agent, to come by the house and talk about what was going to be the plans about selling the house. Now, Joseph didn't have the means to buy out his brother and two sisters, so he was going to have to leave the house. And he made no qualms about letting everybody know that he wasn't prepared to do that. The neighbors mentioned that he had some mental health issues. Basically, they described him as high-strung, that they would hear him screaming. The same exact scream he screamed just before he shot himself. His neighbor directly across the street told me today he heard this high-pitched, almost like woman's scream, yowl, just before he shot himself on the lawn. He's heard that exact same scream before when Joseph Jr. was out there working on his car or his mother's car, and he had broken something, and he heard that exact same sound. So he said he remembered it. He knew exactly who it was. And then when he heard the gunshot, he figured that Joseph Jr. had shot himself. Most of the neighbors knew that the siblings were selling the home and that Joseph Jr. had no means and nowhere to go and was in a panic. He was making this clear. The murder scene was pretty horrific. The police commissioner for Nassau County said in his 41 years, this was one of the worst scenes he had ever been forced to look at.